Alright, so this is going to be exactly how I got ahead of 99% of people by the age of 19. And every single tip in this video is going to come from real experience, right? I started from nothing. I failed a lot, rebuilt myself, and I kept leveling up. Doesn't matter who you are, what position you're in. If you're watching this video, I promise it's going to impact you positively. 100%. Doesn't matter if you're already a millionaire or you're just making your first dollar online. It really doesn't matter. So I kind of have this as like a school kind of college lecture type of thing, because I think that's the best way to convert my knowledge into your brain. So let's get right into it. Tip number one is going to be learn something new every single day. And I know this sounds very cliche, but just hear me out. So what does this truly mean? Daily learning is not about overwhelming yourself with information, but rather it is a practice of expanding your awareness in small, intentional increments. One meaningful insight a day is enough to create a subtle shift in perspective, and over time these subtle shifts accumulate into a radically different mind. A helpful way to think about this is to imagine yourself tuning an instrument. Each day you make a slight adjustment, and eventually that instrument's going to be able to perform in a way it was never able to perform before. That is the surface of this all. But why does this work? We have to dig deep into it. So the mind responds to consistency with clarity. When you learn intentionally every single day, even in small amounts, your thinking begins to sharpen. It becomes a lot easier. If you're learning every single day, it's going to be so much easier to keep learning and learning and learning and learning. That's just how your brain works. You do not simply retain more information, you begin to notice patterns, connections, and opportunities that quite literally were invisible to you before. Another reason why this works is the power of adjacent knowledge. When you study skills that sit very close to one another, you unlock combinations that most people never enter, and the real leverage is created in these intersections. So, let's say you have e-commerce, right? There's going to be an umbrella of skills that go underneath e-commerce. So there's going to be copywriting, advertisement, website building, and let's say you're learning a new skill every day. You want to learn e-commerce, so day one you learn how to make ads, you learn how to copyright the next day, and then the next day you learn how to create a domain name and all these different things. After you're learning new things every single day, by the 30th day, by the 31st day, it's gonna be so much easier to learn because these are adjacent types of knowledge, right? Setting up the website is very similar to the copywriting. They all coexist with each other. It's like a Venn diagram. They all meet in the middle. So the more skills you accumulate, the easier it is to learn the next. So that's why I really recommend people learn a new skill every single day. Whether it's big or small, start learning new skills. And by the end of the year, you're going to be absolutely, you're going to be nothing like your old self. How many skills have you really learned this year? Ask yourself, how many new skills have I learned this year? I guarantee it's less than 20 skills at most. So there is an old principle about stonecutters. A stonecutter can strike a rock 100 times without the slightest visible change. And then on the 101st strike, boom, the rock just snaps in half. Was it because that last wham at it that it snapped in half? No, it was all of the 100 hits before it that led up to the crack. And that's the same with all the skills that you learn every single day. That moment of breakthrough is not caused by the final strike alone, but by the accumulation of every strike before it. Daily learning functions the same exact way. It feels very slow, even invisible at times, until one day the break just happens. So a practical example of this would be devoting 20 minutes each day to learning a new concept about TikTok ads and then applying it that same exact day. If you keep this rhythm for a year, you'll be operating in a completely different league. The transformation comes from not a dramatic effort, but it comes from the quiet consistency in a world that values shortcuts. I also added some philosophical ways you could look at it if the other ones didn't stick. So across ancient traditions, learning was never viewed as information intake, right? It was viewed as self-elevation. And at the end of the day, that's what you want to do. You want to elevate yourself, whether that's with money, that's with knowledge, that's with power. You must elevate yourself if you want to be at the highest echelon of your life. The Greeks called it aret, the continual refinement of one's essence. Eastern philosophy calls it the ever-unfolding self, recognizing that the mind is not a container to be filled but a shape to be sculpted. Daily learning is a spiritual discipline disguised as a practical habit. So the greatest advantage in life is not what you know today, but at the speed which you can learn tomorrow. Daily learning increases your learning velocity, which increases your life velocity. Tip number 2. Stay consistent, especially on the days you don't want to. And I know this sounds cliche, I know. But if I just told you stay consistent, are you really going to listen to it? When's the last time you saw something on Instagram, someone saying, stay consistent, stay consistent? Did you actually stay? No, you didn't stay consistent. So what I want to do in this whole basically essay that I wrote is break it down into all these bite-sized different things. So any type of learner you are, there's different types of learners. That's why there's different type of teachers that do better than others. My biggest goal is to make it sit with you so you can digest it. It's like taking a bunch of pills at once. If you take it all at once, you're not going to be able to get the right effect. You want to take bite-sized pills so you can get the right effect. So what I did is just break it up into different sections, and hopefully one of these are going to sit with you, and I promise you, if you really listen, it's going to change your life, because it changed mine. So the real principle of staying consistent. Consistency is the invisible architecture behind every single long-term result. Motivation rises and falls, but the consistent action creates a stabilizing force in your life. It is the difference between living reactively and living deliberately. Systems allow you to bypass the emotional turbulence of the moment and guide you towards the person you're becoming rather than the person you feel like being. So this works in two ways. It works at a psychological level and also a mathematical level. So there is a principle in mathematics that small actions repeated without interruption produce results that look disproportionate to the effort. This is the essence of compounding. Most people underestimate how powerful this is. I'm going to repeat this over and over in this video because it's so important. Consistency compounds. Just write it somewhere, please. I want to get it tatted on my body. It's so important to me. Consistency compounds. Consistency compounds. Remember that, please. Most people underestimate how powerful it is because compounding hides its rewards until much later. That's why most people stop before they win big. And I know you're probably thinking of that funny meme of the guy mining for diamonds and he stops right before. But it's very true. A lot of people stop way before because they don't see any results. If everyone saw results immediately with business, everyone would be a millionaire. Everyone would be grinding every single day. But that's why business isn't meant for everybody. It's only meant for a certain type of person that knows that the gold is in a year from now. The gold you're going to get is in 2 years from now. It comes from the compounding effort of being consistent, from learning new skills every single day, from everything I'm going to talk about in this video. So on a psychological level, consistency reduces what researchers call decision friction. When you turn a behavior into a routine, the number of choices you need to make decreases. With fewer internal negotiations, execution becomes quite literally automatic. You stop asking yourself, do I feel like doing this? And you start becoming the person that just does it automatically. Over time, that repetition is going to create a new identity for yourself. You no longer see yourself as someone who is trying to be consistent, but rather you become someone who shows up every single day, even on low energy days. That identity shift is the true reward that you're looking for. So consider compound interest, right? A single dollar invested consistently becomes far more powerful than $100 spent just that once. The value does not come from the intensity, but it comes from the rhythm. Consistency will multiply the tiny actions into significant outcomes. This is a side note, but I was reading a book. I don't know what book it was. I have so many books behind me. I've read like 100 books this year. But there's this saying, I believe it's called the broken compass fallacy. Maybe I made it up myself. I don't even remember. I've read so many books. But just 1 degree off on a compass will set you off miles offshore. Just 1 degree off is going to send you in a completely different direction. And so many people are living 1 degree off. They're on the right path, but they're doing the wrong habits. They're not consistent. They're waking up late. They're drinking a lot. They're doing all these negative things. And that small little deviation from where they really should be is going to lead them so many miles off the path where they were meant to be. And at the end, when you finally get to that end goal where it's too late, you're going to be asking yourself, how did I get here? And it was because of that 1 degree deviation. It was because of the small habits that built up every single day. You not being consistent. You not learning every single day. You not trying your hardest. It deviated your path in life. And you ended up in a completely wrong area. So if you're still young, and I mean young under the age of 35, it doesn't matter. If you're still young, do not make mistakes early. This is the foundation for your future life. Do not make mistakes early. You need to focus now. High performers do not rely on inspiration, they rely on structure. They build environments that make their desired behaviors the default. Their workspace, their routines, their deadlines, and even the people around them are designed to reinforce consistency. So for my room, for example, before I made it like a YouTube type studio, when I was first making money online and all the way up until literally a few weeks ago when I just put a bunch of stuff here, right? I took out the TV in my room, I took out the Nintendo Switch, I took out the Xbox, I literally took down every single poster, everything. My room looked like a jail cell. So the most interesting thing I could do in my room was work. And on my computer, the most interesting thing I could do on my computer would be work, because I deleted every single video game. Any single like browser I could download a video game on, I deleted it. I made the most interesting thing to do is work. If you were in jail, or if you were just in a white room, right, and all you had was a computer with, I don't know, books on it, you'd read every single day because that's the most interesting thing you could do. If there was just a Rubik's Cube in a blank room, you would learn how to solve Rubik's Cube because it's the most interesting thing in the room. So you need to make your goals and what you need to do the most interesting thing of your day. And yes, your life may be boring in the beginning, but you get used to it, and it's going to help you provide a future life that you really want to live. Inconsistency is not harmless. Every time you break your own commitment, you erode trust in yourself. You weaken your inner contract that holds your discipline together. The true danger is not lost progress. It is the slow, unnoticed decay of self-belief. And this heavily relates to the broken compass fallacy. 1 degree off is going to send you miles and miles offshore. Tip number 3 is remove people and habits that hold you back. What does this truly mean? Removing people and habits that drain you is not an act of cruelty or harshness, it is an act of alignment. Your environment is one of the strongest forces in your life, reshaping your identity and your behavior long before you notice the influence. Most people believe growth happens through addiction, but in reality, growth often begins with subtraction. Just as doing things and doing productive things make your life better and get you closer to your goals, removing things also from your life is going to get you closer to your goals. I know this sounds obvious, but you always have to be conscious of it, because a lot of times these small cancers in your life, you don't even notice that they're there. You clear away what is limiting you so your natural potential can rise without the resistance. The people around you quietly set the standards for your ambition, your discipline, and even your worldview. Your habits do the same. They nudge you towards a future that reflects their nature, not your intention. Like everyone knows, the sum of the 5 people you hang out with, you will be the 6th. If you're with 5 potheads, you're going to end up smoking. If you're with 5 geniuses, you're going to end up becoming smarter. If you're with 5 millionaires every single day, you're going to end up making money somehow. That's just how the world works. Everything is extremely contagious, the positive and the negative. So only surround yourself around positive. And I know a lot of you guys don't have positive people to be around, right? You don't have a millionaire friend or ambitious people at your hometown, right? Then be by yourself. You're a great person inside, so be best friends with yourself. And not only that, you can make your best friends people on social media, people you're listening to online. If you only listen to productive, happy people, millionaires, people that have ambition, you're slowly going to start, the habits that they have are going to be contagious. You're going to start following their rules, following their morals. So really pick and choose who you listen to online. It's very important. What goes in your ear really comes out in your real life. So why does this work on a deeper psychological level? Humans absorb patterns. Psychology calls this social contagion, a phenomenon where emotions, beliefs, and behaviors spread through groups like invisible currents. If you spend time with people who normalize low standards, risk avoidance, or negativity, your brain adjusts to match the environment. Your habits function very similarly. A habit is not just an action you repeat, it is a signal you send your mind about who you are. Productive habits raise your internal standard. Destructive habits lower it. Over time, your self-image gets shaped by these signals and your behavior starts to follow it. This is why removing negative influences feels very uncomfortable at first. You feel like a bad person. You feel like you're doing something wrong. What you're doing is you're disrupting the old signals. You're interrupting the identity your environment was reinforcing for yourself. But once that noise is gone, your clarity starts to slowly return. You begin to operate from intention rather than unconscious imitation. So think about a garden, for example. A garden thrives not only because what is planted, but also what is removed from that garden. The gardener eliminates weeds not out of anger, but because it steals nutrients from the plants that matter. The act of removal is actually an act of protection. If you're removing bad influences from your life, you're not doing something harsh, you're protecting yourself and your future. A real example is if you move into a more ambitious environment, nothing magical happens to you biologically. But what changes is the density of your ambition, your opportunity, and the momentum around you. Your standards rose because the energy around you demanded it. Your behavior followed because your identity adapted to the new environment you were in. And in philosophy, this is called the extension of the self. To change your surroundings is to change the conditions of your becoming. Ancient thinkers believed that virtue grows in the right conditions and decays in the wrong ones. And I think believed is the wrong word for this. It's 100% true. The fastest form of self-improvement is not always learning more, but removing what blocks you from becoming the best version of yourself. Obsessive experimentation often beats planning. There are so many people that plan and plan and plan all day, and they never actually execute. How far is that really gonna get you? I had this weird thought. I was thinking to myself, like, why are all my very smart friends that I went to school with so broke? And why are all my connections that I have in Miami, in Dubai, in Bali, in all these nice places, not the brightest people, but they're so rich, they're making so much money, they're doing all these great things in their life? And the real reason is, a lot of the people that are very smart, they plan and plan and plan, but they never execute. They think about all the negatives. They're thinking about, what if the business goes wrong? What if I lose my car? What if I lose all this money? What if this happens? What if that happens? What happens? And they never start. So they just stay in the same position they're always in. But the person that's not as bright, not as sharp, they execute. And yes, they might fail 100 fucking times. They might fail over and over and over. But at some point, they wake up and they have a fucking supercar outside. They're in their dream house. They have their dream family because they executed. They actually did something. Yes, they failed so many times, but that doesn't make who they are now. They found something that worked for them because they executed and they experimented so many times until something just fucking stuck. Please don't plan all day and just, if you have a dream, if God put something in your heart, right? If God put a dream in your heart, He didn't put it in someone else's heart. He put it in your heart. It's for you. You can accomplish it. If it's in your, other people don't have the dreams that you have. Don't listen to other people. Listen to yourself. That's your dream. That's your potential. Follow it. I promise you. Experiment. Fail 100 fucking times. You're gonna learn from those failures. I promise you. You got this. I promise you. All the odds were played against me. I was sleeping on the floor of my mother's house. We had no fucking money. Sleeping on the floor. And my mom and sister, we were already older. We were like in middle school and high school. I was sleeping on the floor. My sister was in middle school, sleeping with her mother in a twin-size bed. I wasn't giving shit with all the odds against me. Look where I'm at now. Look at my Instagram. I have everything I ever wanted. I promise you this stuff works. Please just listen to me. I'm not trying to brag. I'm trying to inspire you. If you have a dream, if God put a dream inside your heart, please follow it. Please follow it. So why does this principle work in a deeper level? The mind learns through correction. Each attempt gives your brain new information. Without that exposure, your assumptions remain untested and often wrong. This is why overplanning creates stagnation. Psychologically, experimentation builds resilience. You expose yourself to rapid cycles of small failures. Your nervous system learns that mistakes are not threats. And you have to always remember that. Mistakes are good. They're great. You learn. You're able to see, okay, what went wrong here? What really went wrong? And you could analyze, okay, this went wrong, this went wrong. Okay, let me just work on this. Let me fix this. Let me change this so I can take off. If you never fail at all, how are you going to better yourself? If you don't fucking fall off your bike 100 times, how are you going to learn to ride it? You have to fall off the bike to learn how to ride it. It's so simple. It sounds so simple, but most people are too afraid. You can't be afraid. You have one fucking life. That's it. You have one life. Don't stay in a bubble. It's really not worth it. I promise you. There's so much to life, and so many people are missing out on it, and it really breaks my heart. So think of a sailor navigating the ocean. You cannot chart a perfect route because before setting sail, the conditions are going to change constantly. The waves will be pushing you to the left, and you could go off course, or maybe the wind is blowing super far this way. Like, you don't know what's going to happen when you get in that boat. So what you do is you adjust based on the wind, the waves, and the currents. You're not guessing, you're responding to it. That is the experimentation. So for example, I moved cities, right? I wanted to be in a place where there's ambitious people, smarter people, people that are getting after every single day. That was not a gamble. It was a high variance action that was intended to shift my environment, my opportunities, and my identity. And what it did was produce insights that no amount of thinking could have produced for me. There's no amount of planning and thinking that could have changed my life as much as me making that experiment, right? Me experimenting with, okay, let me change my environment. Let me move somewhere where, oh my gosh, I could be filled with ambition, filled around people with great minds and a big bank account that could help fund my businesses and invest in me, and I could invest in them, and it's a completely different game. People who excel are constantly running micro experiments every single day. They test content styles, new offers, new habits, new environments, new approaches. They do not seek a perfect plan. They seek the fastest feedback. They act, observe, adjust, and they act again. Their advantage is not the intelligence alone, it is learning at speed. In a world of rapid change, the person who learns the fastest is going to win. Tip number 5, become a person who can handle success. What does this truly mean? Success is not something you simply achieve, it is something you are prepared to sustain. Money, opportunity, influence, and attention, they all amplify the internal structure you already have inside of yourself. If your foundation is unstable, success exposes those cracks rather than filling them. Alright, I had to put the glasses on, my eyes are hurting. Sorry for the little bit of a change. So, most people imagine success as some type of reward. But in reality, it pressures your habits, your emotional regulation, your decision making, and even your identity. Without the internal architecture to handle that pressure, people collapse under what they once prayed for. Becoming successful is one process, but becoming someone who can carry success without breaking, that is a completely different story. That's why you see so many gurus, they make this money and then they sell their car because they want a less materialistic life, or they're lying. They couldn't handle the success. They couldn't handle having the money. They weren't ready for it. You have to become the man before you are the man. So I like to always ask myself every single day, still to this day, so when I was younger, I wasn't making as much money. I would ask myself this: what would the 10K per month version of myself be doing right now? And right now I ask myself, what would the $1 million per month version of myself be doing right now? And a lot of times, it's not what I'm doing right now. I could be sitting there scrolling on TikTok. That's not what the 10K per month version of myself would be doing. The $1 million version of myself would be doing. It would be sitting on my computer, working, and doing everything that I know. You know what you need to do. You know that you need to either study a business model or you need to post a video, or you need to do this, or close this client, or open this DM. You know what you need to do, but you don't do it. So you have to just fucking do those things. But going back to all that is you have to become the person before you are the person, because there's no athlete out there that didn't believe they could actually become a worldwide athlete, right? There isn't a millionaire out there that is self-made that didn't think they could actually do it. They became that man. They started doing the actions of the $1 million version of themselves before they became them. So why does this work on a deeper psychological level? Your nervous system has a capacity limit. When your life scales faster than your internal stability, you experience overwhelm, impulsivity, and decision fatigue. This is why sudden income jumps can create chaos rather than clarity. You're trying to operate a larger life with a mindset and habits built for a smaller one. If you're not built to have the emotional bandwidth to handle uncertainty and pressure, these blessings will start to feel like threats. Psychology also shows that humans self-regulate to their self-image. If you do not see yourself as someone who is worthy, capable, and stable at a higher level, you unconsciously will start to sabotage yourself, and you're gonna do that until your life matches your internal stability. So consider a skyscraper. The taller the structure, the deeper the foundation has to be. If you attempt to build upward without reinforcing downward, the building cracks underneath its own weight. Success is no different. It's the same exact thing. Unless your internal systems match the level you're building towards, you will feel destabilized the moment you rise above. So in real life, when people experience sudden spikes in income, instead of peace, they feel pressure. Instead of clarity, they feel confused. The problem was never the success, the problem was the internal infrastructure they haven't set up yet. You have to become the man before you are the man. Tip number 6, stop watching the news. When's the last time you watched the news and you felt happy after? There's never anything good going on in the news. It's all there built and given to you to have fear. It's meant to put fear inside of your body. So it's a form of control. Everyone knows this. It's a form of control. And what this is doing, there's so many people, it's like almost like a plague to me. I see so many older people, like my parents, just anyone over the age of 30 a lot of times. They're plagued by this. It's like non-stop. They're talking about, this is so bad, the country, this is happening, these people are dying, it's so fucking sad. Stop watching the news. It's good to have a general knowledge of what's going on, but so many people get consumed in it and it makes them feel like shit. Like if you turn on the news, you're just seeing this country's getting bombed, this person's dying, it's bad, it's not good. Stop watching the news, it's only hurting you. Stopping the consumption of news is not about ignorance, it's about protecting your attention from information that does not improve your life. The news is engineered to provoke, destabilize, not to inform you in a way that actually elevates you. News is a constant drip of fear, controversy, conflict, and threat. It hijacks your nervous system, shifting you into a reactive state where clear thinking quite literally is going to be impossible for yourself. You're going to be thinking about, this country's doing this, I'm not going to be able to start a business, or down the street these taxes got raised up and I can't start a business here. You're going to be it's just gonna fill your life with excuses, negativity, and you're not gonna want to do anything. Stop watching the news. I can't stress it enough. When your mind becomes a battlefield of all these irrelevant things going on, all these crises, you lose focus for meaningful progress. The human brain is wired for survival. It pays more attention to danger than to opportunity. News exploits you by filling you up with negative stimuli. It triggers your threat responses, filling your body with stress hormones that reduces your capacity for deep work, creativity, and strategic thought. Repeated exposure trains your mind to scan for danger even when nothing is present. Even if it's not affecting you, it's going to build you with excuses, stress. It's going to spike your cortisol through the roof for no apparent reason. Your worldview starts to shift to possible paranoia. Your bandwidth becomes consumed by situations you cannot influence and outcomes that do not actually impact your own life. This is going to create decision fog. Your mind becomes cluttered, distracted, overstimulated, and unable to maintain the sustained focus required for building anything significant. Imagine your mind as a pool of water. Each piece of the news is a rock thrown into it. One rock is manageable. Hundreds create constant ripples, distorting every reflection. You can no longer see clearly in the water. In the digital world, attention is the currency of power. And quite literally, it's one of the biggest currencies out there right now. Look at TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. Look how much control people have now over your attention, and how that affects how people act, how they spend, how they view the world. It's the most important currency right now. So don't give your currency away. You're basically spending your own currency to watch the news, and you're giving away some of yourself watching the news. All right, tip number 7: master one high income skill. Just one. You don't want to be bouncing around. I see so many people making this mistake. So what does this truly mean? Mastering one high income skill is the difference between being replaceable and becoming undeniable. When you choose a single discipline and you go deep instead of wide, then you start to create an expertise that cannot be replicated by shortcuts or surface level effort. Think about any athlete, right? LeBron James. If he was going from basketball, then to baseball, then playing tennis, and then to playing pickleball, he wouldn't be one of the best players of all time, if not the greatest player of all time. He had one skill, he had one idea, one lane he wanted to follow, and he stuck with it. A high income skill is not merely something you do. It becomes a lens through which you see the world. It shapes how you think, how you solve problems, and how you create value. Most people sample skills the way they sample trends. They never stay long enough for the skill to rewire their mind and rewire their life. When you commit to one path, your mind begins to form complex internal models. Things that used to feel very difficult become intuitive. Patterns start to appear for you where others see randomness. Your execution becomes sharper, faster, and cleaner. Mastery is not about talent, it is about devotion. So why does this work on a deeper psychological level? Your brain is a pattern recognition machine. The more deeply you study a skill, the more neural pathways form to support it. This is why mastery creates an unfair advantage. Your mind becomes sculpted for that domain while others are still struggling to form their foundation. This is also a psychological effect called identity reinforcement. The deeper you go into a skill, the more you begin to see yourself as someone who's capable, skilled, and valuable. That identity fuels even greater effort and consistency, which in turn is going to make you more money, create you more connections, and make you better overall in everything at life. The opposite is also true. When you jump between skills constantly, your identity becomes fragmented. You never give your mind the repetition it needs to form mastery. You mistake motion for progress. So think of a blade. A blade becomes sharp not because it's touched every surface in the world, but because it's been honed repeatedly on the same exact stone. If you took that blade and you're rubbing it on glass, and then you're rubbing it on wood, and then you're rubbing it on some random metal piece you found, it's not going to be as sharp as if you focused on that same stone, did the same exact pattern, and you stuck with it for hours and hours at end. So how do you actually apply this into your own life? You have to master one skill first. Do not rush into stacking all these different skills until you have a dominant base. Once you're able to monetize that skill very consistently, then you could add others on top of it. When you master a skill, you tend to stop chasing opportunities. Opportunities begin to find you. Tip number 8, say yes less often. Sounds simple, but for most of you guys, you say yes way too much. The word yes is extremely powerful. Most people use it extremely carelessly. Every yes is a commitment of energy, time, attention, and mental space. When you say yes too often, you scatter your focus across obligations that do not reflect your future. Think about when you're sitting there working, right? And you get a call from your friend, and you're expecting it to be a 10-minute call, or like a 5-minute call. They just want to say what's up. You answer the phone, and they're like, hey, talking about all this stuff. The call's going on for 30 minutes. You guys are chatting. Hey, can you come over really quick? Can you help me load something into my truck and take it to the dump? And then can you take me to this place where if you say yes to all those different things, it went from going from a 10-minute call all the way to 3 hours of your day gone, 4 hours of your day gone, because You said yes to something that really did impact your life. Yes, you're being a good friend, but if you say yes so often, you say it all the time, imagine that happens once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week, you're losing all this time you could be focusing on yourself, into building a business, into building a better life for yourself. Saying yes less often is not about being closed off, it's about being precise. It is choosing to protect your inner world from unnecessary demands. The fewer yeses you give, the more power each one holds. Your future is shaped not only by what you pursue, but also what you refuse. I'm gonna say that again. Your future is shaped not only by what you pursue, but what you refuse. Why does this work on a deeper psychological level? Your cognitive bandwidth is very limited. Every decision, every favor, every conversation pulls from the same material reservoir. When that reservoir is drained, your capacity for creativity, deep work, and strategic thinking ends up collapsing. Too many yeses create internal fragmentation. Your mind becomes stretched between tasks, people, obligations that do not align with your mission. This creates anxiety, mental clutter, and a sense of being behind even when you are working constantly. So think about a laser that cuts through steel. It's cutting through it not because it's powerful, but because it's precise. When that same energy is diffused, it starts to become harmless. It's just like a pressure washer. If you spray a hose on the ground, it's not going to do anything, but if you condense it to a small bit of energy, it's going to end up doing the job a lot more effectively. Your attention works the same exact way. Concentrated energy creates breakthroughs, but if you scatter it all over the place, it's going to create exhaustion. So across philosophies, restraint has always been seen as a sign of strength. The Stoics taught that power is found in control over self, not others. Eastern philosophy teaches a very similar thing. They teach that clarity emerges when you remove the unnecessary. So, the moral of this all is, every unnecessary yes steals from a life that you're trying to build. It steals the time that you could have used to grow your skill. It steals focus that you could have used to create something meaningful. It steals energy that you could have invested into people and projects that truly matter. The cost is not the yes itself. The cost is the future it postpones. Tip number 9. Invest your money. Money that sits still obviously weakens. Inflation is at an all-time high, and just having your money sitting in your bank is, you're just burning it on fire. Just imagine your money burning on fire right now if it's sitting in a bank. And it's only going to burn faster and faster as time goes on, unfortunately. So think of money like water. When stagnant, it grows bacteria. When it flows, it nourishes everything around it. Your finances behave the same exact way. When you keep money locked away out of fear, it loses power. When you direct it toward growth, it multiplies. So when it comes to investing your money, I'm not saying throw it into Bitcoin, Ethereum, the S&P 500. Yes, it'll end up going up, but over 5 years, it might go up 50%. Maybe that's with Bitcoin or something crypto, but S&P 500, is it really going to go up that much? When I say invest your money, I mean invest into yourself. If your business costs let's say you need to run an e-commerce store and marketing costs $1,000. Damn right, you better go invest that money. So many people are so afraid of losing things, losing their money, but if you never give it a chance to create something new for you, you're just going to stay in the same exact position. So what do you really lose? What do you really lose? If all else fails, the worst thing that's going to happen is you go back to a life that everyone else is already living. If you look at all the wealthy people around and a lot of my connections, these are some of the things that they do invest in. They invest into skills, tools, mentorships, systems, network access, and education. These are multipliers that are going to increase your earning power, and when your earning power increases, everything else becomes extremely easy. And the final tip, we made it. If you're still here, I really fucking like you. You're a cool person. You're probably a really smart person too. And it's honestly respectable that you're still here, because most people will click off because it's not the most interesting video. I'm not screaming and yelling and showing flashy things on camera. So if you're here, you have a great life ahead of you. I promise you. So what does this mean to pick an avatar and stick with it? It means choosing an identity that you want to embody and committing to it fully. It is the deliberate creation of the personal aesthetic, tone, and behavioral pattern that reflects your highest potential. Most people spend their lives switching between identities based on who they're around and how they feel in the moment. This is going to create inconsistency, confusion, and decision fatigue. When you define your avatar and stay loyal to it, your life becomes simpler, clearer, and more powerful. Your avatar is the doorway between you and who you intend to become. So I'm not saying go out there and dress in tuxedos every day, buy a fake watch and pretend that you're rich. I'm not saying that, but I'm meaning, one, just dress nice. Just don't dress like a kid. I learned this the hard way. I was always dressing in flashy designs, the most popular stuff. Like, I was really into fashion, and all it really did for me was me sitting in the morning, picking out from my closet for 30 minutes what I'm gonna wear, me making sure I have the right accessories on. And honestly, that type of style, like just wearing streetwear and stuff like that, only attracted negative people. It didn't attract people that built me up in life. And honestly, I don't even dress the craziest right now. Dude, I'm not even lying. I bought 45 black tees. It's all I wear every single day. Every single day. Black tee, nice watch, black pants, nice shoes. That's it. And that's my avatar, and I stuck with it. The mornings are a lot easier. Just dressing normally, people treat me with so much more respect. They listen to me. People of influence and power and that actually have money, they actually listen to. They don't want to listen to someone who dresses like a kid, who tries to show off so much. You don't want to do that, I'm telling you. Ignore the analogy I put here, but think of some of the biggest artists. Drake, or let's use Playboi Carti for example. He found his aesthetic and stuck with it, right? And because he's stuck with that avatar, he's stuck with it for so long, that's attracted so many people, and a specific type of people. It attracted all those people, and they love him because of the aesthetic he's stuck with. And same with all these different businessmen. Look at Iman Gaji, the way he dresses. People relate to him and listen to him because of the way he dresses, like solely because of the way he dresses. It's so important. He picked his avatar and he stuck with it. And on the flip side, look at TJR. He dresses in streetwear, but it matches him. It's himself. It's him. And people respect that. They don't see that he's faking it, so they listen to him and they get along with him and they relate to him because that's him. When you commit to an avatar, something subtle and powerful happens. You begin behaving like the character you created. Your choices become more intentional, your standards rise, your actions align. You want to pick an avatar of the version of yourself you want to be in the future. And that doesn't mean going and spending a lot of money on expensive clothes, because a lot of times you'll realize that once you make money, you really don't want to buy expensive clothes. You just want to dress nice. You want to dress approachable. You want to dress mature, so you're respected by people. People trust you. People want to give to you. I really hope you guys like this video. I'm going to make more like this. I really don't care if it gets a lot of views. I enjoy just having this as a digital notebook for myself because this is stuff that I actually live, a life that I actually live by. If you're still here, you have a great life ahead of you. You have a lot of potential, and you are going to be your best self. And please like and subscribe. Maybe comment. That'll be cool. Thank you guys.